Hello, everyone. I'm like chuckling here because this is actually our second run. Thanks to yours truly, we didn't quite kick off the live stream properly. Welcome to the first Ask the Experts live stream. My name's Rod Bland. I'll be your host today. Just a little quick intro about me. I have a background in e-commerce, had an e-commerce store for 15 years, sold it a couple of years ago to my competitor. Now we help people with their email marketing, particularly with the automation side of things. And today we've got the one and only Peter Harback is here. We're going to be taking questions from the audience. We're going to be talking about all things e-commerce. And today is an opportunity to really grill Peter with really curly questions. That's what I'm looking for. So it's 10 a.m. in Sydney. It's around 8 a.m. in Western Australia. If you're dialing in from there, it's 10 a.m. in Tassie, where Peter is. It's, let me see, 7 p.m. in the US Central Time, if you're coming from the US, and it's wee hours of the morning in the UK. Now, if you are just tuning in, do let us know where you're from. Drop a comment, and I'll definitely give you a shout out. We'll just give Peter an opportunity to let us know what he does and what he's about. Go, Pete.
Okay, cool. So my wife and I, we own 3 e-commerce businesses that all run on the Neto platform. And so we're pretty busy with those. But as a side thing, I like helping other business owners with their Neto stores as well. So I do anything around, giving business owners the right information to grow their businesses and that sort of thing. So using the experience that we've gained in-house and just helping them, rather than they hit their head against a brick wall, we've already done it. So we help them out in that sort of way.
Awesome, yeah. I've seen some of your code actually. Are you a fairly proficient coder in your own right? Do you write your own code? 'Cause I've seen some in some stores.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm like a super, awesome at coding, but I know enough to put things together and build stuff. Usually, I'm leveraging an idea and then building on code that other people have created. Sometimes I'm like completely from scratch when we have to build a solution, that sort of thing. So you might have seen some of that. Hopefully it's okay.
Yeah, what I've seen is pretty clean. Yeah.
Oh, good.
So
Good.
So yeah, but then I'm not a professional coder either, but I know enough to know that what code is not nicely formatted and what is, and yours is generally nicely formatted. Cool. So it's great to see there's so many people tune in. There's around 13 or 14 tune in today, which is great. However, I know there's a lot of lurkers out there. Don't be shy. Sparky Direct, hello, welcome. Thanks for joining in. Thanks for actually putting your hand up. Could it be Andrew from Sparky Direct? I don't know. There's a few guys there. I know a couple of the guys from there. We've done some work for them in the past. They're good operators that have been around for a long time, and I'll give them a free plug because I know that if you ever need electrical stuff, like just around your house, then they don't just sell to tradespeople. You can actually get access to pretty much trade prices for anything you need, like lights, switches, the works. They've got it all. So check them out. Yeah, drop us a note in the chat. Let us know where you're from. Barbecue Spit Rotisseries is joining us from YouTube. Hey guys, thanks for joining us today. I'd be interested to know actually where you are so I can get a bit of an idea. Is everyone in Australia? Is there anybody coming in from overseas? I'm also curious as to see which platforms people come in on, because we're actually live on YouTube, we're live on Facebook, we're live on LinkedIn, and we're also live on Twitter. And we've got Mark has joined us from Facebook. G'day, Mark. Good to see you.
Hey, Mark.
Yeah, so as far as the format for today goes, the ideal live stream situation is where all we do is we answer questions from the audience, because that I think is the ultimate. Now, not everybody has a question, but if you do have a question, then I'm just going to make it easy for you. So basically, if you've got a question about Neto or e-commerce in general, bearing in mind that both Pete and myself have probably got about 35, 40 years of experience between us. Peter in particular has a lot of experience with Neto. I'm expecting that there'll be a lot of people that use the Neto platform. Then, drop that question in and we can talk about whatever it is you've got that you want to know. So just put it a Q and then your question, then it makes it easy for me to find it in the comments later on. And in the meantime, if you've just tuned in, hello, and I'm Rod. I'll be your host today. I'm joined here by Peter Harback, and today is all about Neto and e-commerce in particular, and just a general chat about questions that people have about any sort of problems or issues or things about e-commerce that you'd like to know that you think you might be able to take advantage of an expert for a little bit of time. So we've got loads of people jumping in. We've got Tom. G'day, Tom.
Hey, Tom.
Hi from Geelong. Haven't been to Geelong for a while. It's a nice place, Geelong. Probably about 10 years ago. It gets really cold, I think, if I recall, Tom. It's probably below 10 degrees there this morning. We've got Aaron here from Sydney. G'day, Aaron. Thanks for joining us. He's coming in from YouTube. Who did I miss? Did I get Mark from Brisbane? I think I did get Mark, actually. Scott is joining us from Endeavour Hills in Melbourne. Morning, Scott. That sounds like that would be pretty cold as well. And Barbecue Spit Rotisseries. If you actually have, it's always good to have a name, so feel free to drop your name if you've got your business on your profile. Will there be a post-purchase cross-sell coming to Neto? Why don't we take that question first, Pete? And do you know about that?
Yeah, well, no. In short, there won't be a post-purchase cross-sell coming to Neto, purely because of the plans that Maripost have for Neto. They're putting pretty much all of their energy into the new, the next level, the next platform that they're building. So high in. What would you call them? Features. Sorry, big features like post-purchase. Won't be coming. But I mean, there are ways that you can do post-purchase. With email sends and stuff like that, and even putting stuff on the checkout success page. It's not the ideal post-purchase situation, but yeah. A seamless post-purchase, I don't think will be coming to Neto.
Yeah, that was what I was going to say. The way to handle it is just with email automation. Because there's so many ways that you can do post-purchase. You can go, okay, well, did they buy a particular brand, or did somebody buy a particular product, a particular category, and you want to cross-sell a different category, or is there is it a renewable thing? Like one of our clients, Aquaholics, they sell a lot of everything to do with fish. They sell filters, right? So they know the filter is going to need to be renewed in about 3 months' time. So they have a post-purchase flow in Klaviyo to handle that, to send a reminder to those people, and then another one 3 months later, and another one 3 months after that.
Yeah.
So there's ways around it. Yeah, don't give up on post-purchase.
No. Yeah.
It's definitely very powerful. All right, so let's see. I'm just going to switch that banner just to the question one. So if you've got any other questions, do drop them into the chat. Just drop a Q in front. The volume of comments coming through is high. That just helps me identify which ones, and I can save them, and then we can queue them up later. So while we're waiting for people to come in, and we've got about 20. This is great. Good to see so many people turning up to this. Maybe there was one thing in particular. I won't get you to do your slide quite yet, Pete, but there was a question that I had. Is that, do you, as a fairly high level Neto partner, do you actually get some sort of information ahead of time about anything new that's sort of coming out of the pipeline that you're allowed to share, or do you have to keep it to yourself?
No, not usually. Sometimes, we might hear about something, but no, not usually. That's probably the short answer. Yeah. Yep.
Fair enough. All right. Well, we've got a question here from Barbecue Spit Rotisseries. Thank you guys for dropping in some questions and keeping things moving. We've got some more. I'm going to start starring some of these because we've got a few others coming in. So, what do you reckon, Pete? Any bundle builders? Any other features to increase AOV? Obviously, well, I'll let you. I've got some ideas, but I'll let you.
Yeah. Look, bundle builders. I'm not sure exactly what your sort of what you're sort of asking there. Like when I think bundles, Neto's got a very powerful kitting feature that lets you create bundles. So I'm not sure whether that's kind of what you're where you're sort of steering towards. That I've used that since starting, and I've had several other business owners that have had really nice customizations done with the kitting functionality in Neto, like on the front end, a real nice seamless functionality. And I can show you some of that, but I don't know. Yeah, is that what you're talking about? Like the with bundle builders? I don't know if I haven't hit the mark.
I'm not sure if that's a follow-up mix and match within a category. I might get you to just put a little bit more info. I think that might actually be a separate question. So I'll let you post a bit more info about the bundle builders side of things for us, barbecue spit rotisseries, the guys there. In the meantime, Mark's got a question here, which is, what are your 3 e-commerce stores, Pete?
So we run.
I know one's Cool Things, right? Coolthings.com.au.
Cool Things Australia is our main one. So that's coolthings.com.au. That's our main store, and then we've got a science store called moretoscience.com.au, and then we have a Tasmanian product business called Tasnique. Can I put that in the chat?
You can do that. You can type them into you can add them in as a comment.
Yeah.
And if you just leave it as all, it'll sit in the chat, and then I can actually then throw it up onto the screen.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So I'll just do.
So we'll get that up on. Thanks for that question, Mark. If you've just joined us, hello. My name's Rod. I'm the host today. We've got Peter Harback here, our resident Neto and Ecommerce expert. If you've just jumped in, say hi in the chat. Let us know where you're from, and if you've got any a question about e-commerce in general, especially about Neto, anything you want to ask, then we'd love to hear from you. Just drop a Q in as per the banner there, and then put your question in, and then I'll pick it up. I'll star it, and we'll get back to it as soon as we can. So Pete's just dropping his.
I put them into the private chat. I'm not sure if I've got access to the normal comments. I don't know.
Let's see. Yeah, I think you do. All right, hang on.
That's all right.
I'll drop them in. So that's one. Let's just drop that in, and let's grab the. I'll feed those in while I've got another.
Yep.
Oops, I just did Cool Things twice. All right. Oh, okay. All right. So Paul, g'day. Thanks for dropping in. Good to see you here. Let us know where you're from. Always interested to know where people are from. And we've got Adam. Adam's dialing in fairly early from. No, he's not actually. No, he's from New South Wales. From out in the west. In the cold part of town. I think I might have spoken to Adam in the past before. What's that vehicle that's in your profile there, Adam? I'm interested. Paul Slater's coming in from Brizzy.
Hey,
up there.
Hey, Paul.
And we also got Ian from Artist Guitars. I've spoken to Ian several times in the past. G'day, thanks for joining us today, Ian. Appreciate that. All right, so let me just go back to the starred questions. Barbecue spit rotisseries has just got a little more detail, like mix and match within a category. I think, isn't it? It's obviously you're not talking about that. You might also like functionality that's there. So,
I think they've explained it a little bit more. There's another post from them, so a customer can choose 2 to 3 products from a category with a discount.
Here we go. Yeah. Okay. Does that make sense? Makes sense to you, Pete?
I'm not sure whether you're talking about a category page. Are you talking about a multi-ad feature where people can, select multiple products? I'm not sure. It's probably I would need a little bit more information still. I don't know. Yeah. Do you have an idea, Rod?
I'm not. I'm just trying to picture we used to. I wouldn't say it was a standard feature. I think it's something that you could customize with a bit of custom coding. We used to do product, and then we'd have products within the same category shown like in the product description as well, so that people can add in, like it's like, for instance, if we sold a solid state drive, then we'd always have an associated product would be the enclosure to put it in. So
right, yeah,
that was something else from the same category. So we've got a few more loads of people dropping in. Just do a couple of shout outs. We've got Omar from Ozbest Deals in Melbourne. Welcome, Omar. Thanks for joining us today. Adam has just clarified that he's sitting next to a supercar. All right, cool. Woo. Yeah. All right. Ian's got a question for us about Barilliance. I'm sure that's one that you get quite often, Pete. And they're actually using it at the moment. Yeah, maybe let us know why you're thinking about removing it, Ian. That would be interesting to know.
Yeah. It's something to do with email automation as well, isn't it? Or is it on page? Is it on page? Organized.
Yeah, so it does the personalization side of things, and let's see. I'll drop in. I'll see if I can include. I'll just drop in the page.
Yeah, I've got it.
That one there. You got it? I'll just say that everyone else can see this as well. I'll just drop this into the stream. So it's a personalized shopping experience across the purchase journey, real-time personalization, AI-driven. Yeah, it sounds like one of those things that would require a fair investment in the setup to be able to get your money's worth. That's what I always found with these kinds of things. So, but I personally have had no experience with it.
No, I looked into it when they first sort of came out with. Actually, I think they were doing the rounds and calling business owners. So I think I got a call, and I think the pricing was quite high back when this was probably a year or two ago. And I mean, I think not the personalization of product recommendations. Something like Klaviyo doesn't do that thing, but I don't know. I think the integration wasn't there when we integrated. I don't know how tightly it's integrated, Ian, with your site. But that's what makes or breaks any sort of platform, third-party platform like this. It's the integration. So you could have all this wonderful feature set, and if it's only half integrated or not integrated very well, I mean, if it was integrated really well, then it should be paying for itself. Like, you should be getting the analytics, getting the numbers, and you should be able to see that, wow, this thing is just making us so much money. So I'm not sure why you're thinking of removing it. Maybe they've gone up in price, or maybe you're not getting those numbers. You're not seeing the actual return on your investment.
Yeah. That's always the hard part. Is it's one thing. It's a trap that's easy to fall into. It's like, okay, as a e-commerce business, especially when it's small, it's just himself and maybe one or two other people. It's tempting to say, okay, I'm going to engage these people. I've got way too much on my plate. I'm going to engage these people, and that's going to get sorted out for me. But there's always going to be a partnership in any initiative that you have, and it's going to require somebody's going to have to lead that project within your own organisation, no matter how good these guys are. And I think sometimes it's hard to do that. You've got, okay, we're already run off our feet. We don't want to add another person to do this, but that's the reality, is that to really get the most out of it. It's been around a long time, Barilliance. I know that there's I know plenty of other Neto store owners that I've heard that have actually used it, and but it was always a pretty big project. So it would be interesting to know, what sort of investment you've made in it so far. Yeah. So we've got just a shout out here to Mojahid. Not sure where you're from. That's it looks like that would be in another language. But thanks for joining us anyway. So Adam's, I'm just going to star a couple of these. Adam, thank you for this question. I've never used email marketing. I sell car parts, have a content type for parts compatibility. Can that content type be used for personalizing product recommendations? Can you just explain for us the concept of a content type versus categories? I think it's the same thing, isn't it, Pete, in Neto speak?
Yeah, so content types can be created. So you can have like a whole heap of different content types. It's basically a sort of container for categories, for a brand, or for like a parts compatibility and that sort of thing. It's just basically a way to create unique. This is what I love about Neto, actually, is you can basically make it do a lot of things that it's not designed to do. So you could have, yes, parts compatibility, which is like a category tree, and you can create them. You can create almost unlimited content types. It's a form of page. If you look at that, like a category could be a category page. A part could be a part page where you go to certain parts, and that can be done in a tree. So top level and then lower levels, like a car, a vehicle type, or a vehicle could be a content type, and then Mitsubishi, and then you've got Outlander, and then all the different types underneath that content.
Yep. So the question is, can that content type be used for personalizing product recommendations? I could probably handle that one, I reckon.
Yep.
So generally, when it comes to the personalization, at least from my experience, and I'm most familiar with Klaviyo in this regard, so the personalization can be based on an individual or a store-wide basis. So it's usually based on you can choose to say, okay, it's based on what the person has looked at in the past. It can be based on what the most popular products are, say the last 3 to 3 days down to 30 days. It can be what that particular person has sold versus what's sold well for the store wide. So it's really all around products. As far as the automation, the AI side of things goes, it's all to do with what's selling well, what's not selling well, and the particular product mix. So you don't have to say, okay, out of all the products, recommend to people what's selling well in, say, the last 3 days. You can also narrow that down to say, okay, I only want to show them this particular product set, which just contains, let's say, oil filters for the sake of car parts. So I only want to show them things to do with oil filters. Now, the reason that you could, I think, for what you want to do, so that's the automation side of things, but then you can manually split things up. So taking that example, you could say, okay, you could have a post-purchase flow or even a pre-purchase flow that looks at the category that person has purchased from, and then you can then in the product block, the recommendation product block, you can include just the products that you like, the basic categories that you want to recommend based on the category that they're actually purchasing from, and you can go right down to the product level with that. So there's definitely different ways that you can personalize things, using a combination of the AI side of things within Klaviyo plus your own sort of manual thing. So generally most businesses have got a fairly high level category structure that is finite, maybe a dozen or so, and you can split your flows up to send different types of messaging to people depending on what category they're in. Hopefully that helps answer that one a little bit for you. So Omar has a question here. Thank you, Omar, for that. And if you're just tuning in, say hi in the chat. Let us know where you're from. And some people have hit the like button. If you are finding this content useful, please go ahead and hit the like button. That'd be great. And I appreciate your support there. So Omar, let's bring up your question. What's the best customer service CRM to use? We use Freshtest, but it's not perfect for what we need. This is a fairly hot topic, this one. I've seen this in the Facebook group quite often. What do you think, Pete?
It's a hard question because I think the best one to use is the one that fits your business needs. Really, like because I've set up Zendesk for a few people, a few business owners, and that's worked really well for them. I'm not sure what the features are with Freshdesk because I've never used it. And I know there's a few new ones kicking around. I think the best thing maybe to answer that question is to get really clear on what you need. So what do you need? Like because a lot of the times the trouble is you get into a demo, you make the time, you schedule a demo in, you get like halfway into the demo, and then they say something, and then you go, "Oh, can it do this?" And they go, "No." So, like, if you can get really clear on what you need, we need it to handle Facebook instant messages. We need it to handle, this or that. We need to be able to pop an order number from Neto and it to pre-populate the order details. These are the must-haves. It'd be good to have, be really clear, and then just go to the different platforms and say, this is our wish list. This is what we need to absolutely have. And, that's how I would approach it. Because I think everybody's different, business is different.
Yeah, I agree. There was, when my ecom business was very small and there was just a couple, I started off with just a free, I forget what it was called. I think it was even called Live Chat, actually. Livechat.com or livechatinc.com, I think it was. And that was great for a while. And then once the team got to 6 or 7, there was, we needed to kind of centralize communication. So we needed to be able to have a record of chat because, if you've got a few people in customer service, you've got one person starts a chat, another person might finish it, and someone might come back with a question via email after they've had a chat, and you need to be able to have all that information all in one place. So that was when we made the move to Zendesk. And at the same time, it's got a pretty robust API, so we were able to do things like, if there was a pickup order, to be able to add in a note into the order within Neto, but also for that to generate an email that goes out to the person that's generated from Zendesk that has the location where they need to pick up. It allows you to do those sorts of things. So, I think you're right. It's different products are going to apply at different stages of your business and what your needs are at that particular time, and what one that might suit you for a while now may not suit you in the future. But all you can do is just go with what's got most of the features. I don't think there's ever a perfect solution. Just make the most of the one that you have until there are some features that you really need that are essential for your business growth, and then that you've got to then change to get something that works better for you. So Omar has got another question just to follow up that, which was, would love the orders to be linked to the emails as well as the product links. Yeah, that's one of the things that I found was really cool about Zendesk, is that you had instant access to the orders all in a panel down the right hand side. I don't know if there's others that have that same sort of functionality. Do you use that at all within your other businesses, Pete?
No, we don't actually use. We're just in email. But I know that one of the businesses I help out, they use Zendesk and they use that functionality. That's actually in Zendesk. That's a special Neto add-on that allows you to bring up the order details. And so that's there. So you don't need somebody to develop it for you and that sort of thing. And you mentioned about the API. That's where, if you want to make it do things, then you can get a developer to say, I really need you to be able to pull this in, or to join multiple data sources and stuff like that.
Yep. Joseph is also joining us from Osbest Steels. They have a bit of a team there. So it's Joseph, and there was also, where is he? Omar was there too. Welcome, guys. Thanks for joining us today. So we've got another question here from, let's just see. Is it barbecue split rotisseries? Yeah. Is there or will there be a drag and drop feature for content or product pages? Sounds like a good idea. Not one that I've heard of. What do you think?
If you're talking about images, is that what do you think that's about? Like dragging and dropping images around?
Yeah, I'd say like, I don't know if you've seen the Klaviyo editor. Like you could drag and drop images, blocks of content, blocks of text.
Yeah. The short answer would be no, not in Neto. Just purely because Maripost won't be investing a lot of that sort of time for a feature like that. It will probably most definitely be in the new platform that they're developing.
So, what?
Actually, let me just answer this again because there are third parties that allow you to implement drag and drop into Neto, and I know Sparky Direct is using one of them. So if you want to
maybe
check
the
out
guys there
side,
could drop that in the chat. Let us know what that is, guys, and we'll throw it up on the screen. That's interesting. I didn't even know that was something. It's one of those things that's really handy, like when you're using the Klaviyo editor, of being able to just move stuff around. It's really, really handy. Here we go. It's called Builder.io.
Builder.io, yeah. So check that out. There's a fairly easy way of integrating that in with Neto. It basically handles all the content. So you set up a dummy content page. Think an empty category page, and then you've got the Builder.io code on that page, and then you do all of the work setting up the page in Builder.io, and then it automatically appears on your Neto store. So it's for setting up kind of landing pages and stuff like that. And then with the API that it's got, you can even do things like connect to Neto's API and pull in products and stuff like that. You can go pretty deep with it, but you would need a developer to get involved.
Yeah. Sounds like Pagefly for Shopify.
Yep.
Yeah. Accelerates content production. Great. Thanks for that question, Joseph. Wasn't actually Joseph. There's
barbecue.
The comments are flying too. Yeah, barbecue spit rotisseries. Thanks, guys. If you've just joined us, then drop a comment in the chat. Let us know where you're from. If you are watching this on the replay, put a comment in. Just type replay at the beginning. Let us know where you're from. It's always interesting to go back and see where people are tuning in from. It's around about 10:40. We're probably going to be online for about another 20 minutes. I don't know if we'll get through all the questions, but we'll do our best anyway. It's about 10:40 in Sydney. It's about 8:40 a.m. in Perth, and around about 7:40 p.m. in the United States. But it is Monday there, not Tuesday, like it is here in Sydney. Pete's about 10:40 down there in Tassie. Was it cold there this morning, Pete? Was it below 10?
Oh, actually, it was nice this morning. We've had some cold ones, but it was a beautiful overcast day. But certainly a lot warmer than it has been.
Nice. All right. Well, if you've got a question about either Neto or e-commerce in general, then feel free to drop a comment into the chat box and we'll answer that for you. We've got one here from Omar. Thank you, Omar. He's been firing them out. Is there documentation on how to set up the TikTok pixel? Do you know, Pete? I've got a bit of an idea.
The last time I checked on the Maripost Galaxy sort of documentation page, they didn't have any documentation, official documentation. The way I've done it in the past is used Google Tag Manager, and it's a fairly straightforward process to do it. I'm just looking on the Maripost site now just to see if I can find if they've got something.
So Google Tag Manager allows you to pick up the purchase value and the product and that sort of stuff. Okay.
Yeah. So, and that's probably the easiest way to do it, rather than do it through the scripts section in the cPanel.
Someone else, I don't know if they're actually joining us today. The guys from in Perth, which Igor from Perceptive Digital, they put a lot of time into building custom scripts. I know the one for Klaviyo is one I use all the time, for Facebook as well. They may have one for TikTok. It'd be worth checking in with them. Sometimes they've developed things for other clients and they haven't actually made it public because they haven't packaged it up, but it would be worth dropping a line with those guys. They may have a direct, custom script drop-in, which would be pretty nice. Omar's got a follow-up question. Do you think they can add a quick demo for it? A quick demo for what specifically, Omar? Come back and let us know what you mean there. Now, Joseph has a similar question to one that we've had before, which is the live chat add-on. I think, I don't know whether you've just come in after our previous conversation. We talked about Zendesk. Joseph, that's the only one I'm aware of that allows you to do that kind of linking, because it's been around for such a long time. They've got plugins for different CRMs. You can bring your order details from Neto into Zendesk, and then you can really customize. You can also send data from Zendesk back to Neto as well. That's the only one I'm aware of. I'm sure there are others. That's the one that we know about. So Adam McKenzie has a question for us. Workflow software or dashboard? Don't need it for a team environment, just looking to be organised. Yeah. So you mean like just to show sales, customers, conversion rates, that sort of thing? I'm assuming that's what you mean. There's a couple I've used. What have you used, Pete, for that kind of thing?
I pretty much have used Clickfolio for like years. And
Clickfolio? I've never used that.
Clickfolio, that's kind of like a dashboard. It's a dashboarding piece of software. Mm-hmm. So that lets you, connect to basically anything with an API, and it's easy. You just need to know a bit of basic things about creating a query. But that's what I've used, and I've got multiple dashboards, all bringing in. The cool thing about it is that yes, you can connect to anything with an API, so that's a bit more developer orientated. But like things like Google Analytics and a whole heap of other sorts of platforms, they just have native integration. So you can do stuff like, what's Google Analytics saying about my business? And then you can join it up with what Neto's saying, and you can mash the two data sources together, and you can create some really, really insightful data, so that you can track. If that's what you're kind of meaning with dashboarding,
I think it probably is.
Yep.
Omar is just sort of following up. It's beyond the scope of what we're doing today, Omar, as far as demonstrating how you integrate TikTok. But check in with the guys at Perceptive. Otherwise, TikTok themselves will show how to do a manual installation, and maybe drop a line to Pete later. We'll have his contact details in the description for this video, and you can he'll be able to give you some pointers as well, I'm sure. So Adam's just to follow up, putting all the apps, links, emails, etc. in one place. Oh, I see. Yep. So it's not just data, it's like accessing all the tools that you have as well. You know what I used to do? I used to put it just in a Google Doc. I had one Google Doc that had a lot of links to all the different, because we training materials, links to all the tools that people use when they start their day. We had one page, which was, it was actually, it was a Google site. When Google used to have those intranet sites, I don't know if they still do. That's what we had it in. Yeah, but you could just do the same thing in a Google Doc too. Yeah. And that was everyone's homepage, so because it had all that stuff in it. So I don't know, maybe that helps. So, question here from Tom Parsons. Thanks for joining us, Tom. Any CRO changes, tips that you made recently to your site's client? That's a good question. Love these sort of questions. I'm sure you've got some. I've got loads, Pete.
Yeah. I think the important thing here is you should be doing this sort of stuff. It's just one of these things, like when you hear, oh, you shouldn't have a banner on your homepage. You can't sort of take that sort of thing as, oh, that applies to me. So you should be testing things like this. So one of the things that comes up quite regularly in the forum is, I hate those sales notification pop-ups. The little things that says, somebody in Victoria has just bought whatever.
Mm-hmm. The sales ticker thing, yep.
Yeah, yes. I think the last time I tested that was probably over 6 months ago. And basically, every time we've tested it, it has shown that having it pop up increases conversions, and and it's a good thing, even though you might get the odd person saying, "I hate that." And
do you disable it on mobile platforms? Do you, Pete? Do you only show it on desktop?
Yeah.
That's one thing I think sometimes people forget, is that that's when it gets annoying, because it gets in the way.
And that's the thing, you've got to weigh up that sort of thing with any sort of test. That's probably, I'm doing a test right now. So I can't say where I'm doing it, but I'm doing a test right now that's around showing a guarantee on a product page and near the add to cart. So one person visits the product page, they don't see the guarantee. And then the next person, they see the guarantee. And it's amazing just to watch. It's only early days, but I think four days in, showing that guarantee near the buy button, and conversions are way up for this particular site. So and that's just a little test, I guess, a little example, and that's something that I'm doing right at the moment. So over to you, Rod.
Yeah, I'll give you. Well, I'll just give you a couple. I'll just throw a couple out there, which I generally encourage most clients to do. I'll add in Alcoholics. Thank you, Alcoholics. They're always very generous about, can I use your site, guys? Can I use your control panels? There, you say, yeah, you just use whatever you want. So they've had this. This is just an example. So they don't. I generally don't like the sliders in terms of like the distraction, and often the sliders are just straight product information, and I think that sometimes people don't know what they want, and just throwing random products at them is not always the best idea. So we're just leveraging, one is the sort of key value proposition, bringing joy to fish keeping. That's, if you have some value proposition that you can explain in one sentence in a few words that has some emotion in it, that's really important. And then you can have a sub-headline as well there. We've utilised a big bold shop now button, so it's easy for people to get started digging into your catalogue. We're utilising these trust symbols here, the payment symbols. Everybody recognises these, and there's something the psychology is that if you recognise a symbol, it imbues trust, right? It doesn't matter if it's a site that you've never been before. You see those things, you go, you just feel a bit more comfortable about them, right? And then we include some reviews from people as well. So that's just one idea for something that you could do on your homepage. If you've got those three elements, that key value proposition, making it so it's easy for people to continue or to get shopping, use trust symbols, and use social proof, which are reviews. Now the sales ticker is another form of social proof, but because people read from the top left down, I think this real estate up here above the fold is really important to get the sort of key message about what your business is, what you guys do, and here's how you can get started digging into our catalog. And then also look at it not just on desktop, but look at it in your mobile side of things as well. So I could do a 1 hour talk on all the different things that we've had clients do. I won't. I'll just leave it at that one. But I will refer you to my YouTube channel, because I've got a whole playlist there with different things about conversion rate optimization. So if you want some more tips, Tom, definitely go and check that out. Just look for my name on YouTube. You'll find it there. So I'll just remove that from the chat. So we've got a couple of other questions. Thank you, guys. It's like running a live stream is sometimes you run these things and you don't know if anyone is going to turn up, and it's very, very gratifying to have so much support from people and so many people turn up and participate. It just makes it so much more enjoyable, not just for us as the host and the guest, but also for everyone else who's participating, anyone else who shows up for the replay later on. So I really appreciate it. Thanks. Keep the questions coming. So question is from, let's see, I don't know this one at all. John Wakefield. Thank you, John. How hard is it to get a Neto store to pass the mobile call web vitals assessment? That little smirk on your face, Pete, tells me that you know something about this.
Yeah, it's pretty much impossible. The funny thing is that if you go to a lot of Google's own properties and run their sites through the mobile core web vitals assessment, they all fail too. What I would suggest here, and usually it's a store is failing because of third-party add-ons and scripts that you've done, like Just Uno, or even things like Klaviyo, or just third-party things that you've added on. Even Font Awesome, the third-party plugin that does the nice little icons. So there are things that you can do, like chat bots. That can cause an issue. Some of this stuff can be fixed by lazy loading some of these third-party things, like only load the chat when somebody starts scrolling down the page, and that sort of overcomes the web vitals. A lot of people and a lot of smart people, especially in the SEO world and all that sort of thing, they're usually not saying, it's really critical that you get your mobile core web vitals score up, because you can go to a page like a massive, like Amazon or something like that, and chances are they're not passing it, but Google's sending them traffic. If that's what you're worried about, if you're worried about Google going, you don't pass, we're not going to send you traffic, I wouldn't worry about that, because there's a lot of big sites that aren't passing, and they still get traffic. If that alleviates the concern, John.
Yeah, it sounds like it's a good thing to aim for, but it's not a make or break situation. Scott, thank you for letting us know about that. Regards to our call search, I just tested it and it works okay for me, but maybe there is a particular keyword that you're using that shows up as the searches that's breaking the search. That would be good to know what that is. So we've got, let me see, Joseph. Let's throw up Joseph's question here. Thank you, Joseph. We booked something as 2 packages with 2 different labels. The customer receives only 1 tracking detail rather than 2. I remember I used to get this, and I forget how I did it. Do you know? About this
it's probably to do with your dispatch template, your dispatch email template, because in that there probably needs to be some sort of a loop.
That's what it is.
Loop through all the packages, and your template might be the default one. I think the default ones are pretty, standard. They really only cover certain use cases. And if you're doing stuff like that, it probably just needs to be looked at. So that's your email template for dispatch. I think you can see that in your cpanel, or if you've got SFTP, you can do it that way.
Yeah, you need a little bit of custom coding done to add the loop in, which is just so that it reads, rather than just the first one, it's looping through to read all of them. And I remember now that was the problem that we had, and that was how we resolved it. So Omar, now we're just coming down to the last 4 minutes. Unfortunately, I do have another hard stop at a little bit after 11. So it sounds like this has been worked out really well, and there's been lots of questions. I really appreciate everyone participating. And if you do have more questions, you certainly can drop them in the chat. Pete may be interested in coming back for another one of these. Given how popular this was, I'll see if I can twist his arm to come back again. Omar has a question which is about video. Well, Neto, I thought you could already add in. Oh, you've got an embed video, don't you, Pete? You can't just add it in like an image.
Yeah, so the easiest way to do it is just to host it on YouTube. If you don't want everybody to see it on your YouTube channel, you can make it private, and then embed that video like on a product page.
Yeah.
Yep.
And something else to keep in mind, Omar, is that because I think Neto is still billing based on bandwidth, right? Do they still bill based on bandwidth as well as turnover?
No.
So there's no bandwidth anymore. Okay.
No. So if you really want to upload, you can't upload through the cPanel. So logged into the control panel, there is a hard set limit of, I don't know what it is, 2 megabytes or something like that. So if you've got a big video, you can't do it through the cPanel. You have to do it through SFTP. So you have to get like file access to your site, and then you can upload it that way. If you really want to, upload the raw video and then stream it direct from your server. But yeah, the easiest way is just to leverage YouTube. There might be other reasons why you want to upload it directly to your site. So.
Yeah, so Omar, so there's 3 levels of YouTube. So you've got your public ones, you've got private, which only nobody can see, but you've also got unlisted. So if you provide the link to it, people can see it, but obviously they need to have the link to it. And if you're embedding it, well, there's your link. Here you go, Pete. And yes, I think I'll let you answer that.
Not right at the moment, unfortunately. Yeah, I'm very booked up. The reason why I came on to do this is because I can sort of aggregate and hopefully be helpful to many people, but not right at the moment. Sorry, Ian.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to start wrapping up. So we'll have contact details for yourself, Pete. Whatever you want to provide, I'll leave that in the description. I know you're a very busy guy, and I appreciate your time today. There'll be the same for myself. I do, for anyone who, obviously, my expertise is in the clever and email marketing side of things. And sometimes if you just want to pick my brain, so you can just book a 1-hour consult through my website. It's easy to spot that for anyone who's interested in doing that. And have you got anything you want to finish up with, Pete, before we wrap it up?
No, all good. It's been great. It's good to see so many people, and good to be able to hopefully be helpful.
Yeah, look, thank you everyone for participating. Thanks for joining us today. And thanks also for the support with the likes and the emojis on the video. I really appreciate that. If you are watching this on the replay, thank you also. And if you found the information useful, well, just hit the like button, click subscribe if you want to find out when there's something more coming on. And perhaps we'll have Pete come back again in a future Ask Your Experts session. And that's all I've got. I'm going to wrap it up in the next few seconds. I wish you had a
Neto party.
Yeah.
I love the music on the intro.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, thanks guys. Thanks Ed. Thanks Adam. And Scott. Thank you all for joining in today. And I'm planning to run these every week. So yeah, appreciate you joining in again in the future. And that's it. We'll wrap it up.
All right. See you guys.
Thanks, Pete. See you later.